Rain hammered the pavement like bullets from an endless storm. Red and blue lights flashed across my face as I sat on the curb, soaked to the bone, my clothes clinging like a second skin. The cold seeped into my bones, but I barely felt it. My fingers wouldn't stop shaking around the muddy notebook I clutched to my chest, as if letting go would make everything disappear. Water dripped from my hair into my eyes, mixing with the tears I couldn't hold back. "It's Noah's," I told the officer crouching beside me, his raincoat slick and shiny under the flashing lights. My voice cracked, barely audible over the thunder rumbling in the distance like a warning. "You missed everything. All of it." The notebook's pages were stuck together by the downpour, ink running in black rivers. But the words were still there, names underlined in frantic red, dates circled over and over like desperate pleas. Noah's handwriting, neat at first, then jagged, as if his hand had trembled while writing. His warnings, his fears, all spelled out in black and white. The cop reached for it, his gloved hand hovering. "Son, give it here. This is evidence now." I held tighter, my knuckles white. How could I trust them? They were the ones who had let this happen. 6 months ago, my best friend vanished into thin air, and no one had cared enough to look. Tonight, in this relentless storm, I finally understood why. The truth wasn't hidden in shadows. It was right there in the badges and uniforms surrounding me. Thunder crashed above us, shaking the ground. I opened the first wet page with numb fingers and read the line that turned my blood to ice. "If something happens to me, it's because of him." I looked up at the officer's badge glinting in the rain. Calloway, the same last name as the man Noah had been terrified of for months. My stomach twisted. Was this a coincidence, or had the nightmare just begun? The rain kept falling, relentless, washing away the world. So did my tears, hot and silent. What had Noah seen that no one else had? And why had the police buried it all? 6 months earlier, the sun was warm and golden, casting long shadows across the grass by the old bridge in Hollow Creek. The air smelled of fresh-cut grass and river water, a lazy summer scent that made everything feel possible. Noah and I sat there, him with his sketch pad balanced on his knees, pencil flying across the page as he captured the rusted iron arches of the bridge. I was nearby, phone in hand, filming my latest skate tricks. Nothing fancy, just flips and grinds on the cracked pavement. "Show the world your art one day," I teased, zooming in on his drawing. The lines were so precise, like he could see things the rest of us missed. He smiled that quiet smile, the one that never quite reached his eyes, always holding something back. Maybe when people actually see me, Eli. Right now, they just look right through. His voice was soft, almost lost in the breeze, rustling the leaves overhead. A dark sedan rolled past on the road above us slow. Too slow. Its engine hummed low, tires crunching gravel. Noah's pencil stopped moving mid-stroke. His laughter faded, replaced by a tense silence. He stared at the car until it disappeared around the bend, his shoulders rigid. "You okay?" I asked, lowering my phone. My heart picked up a beat, though I didn't know why. He shook his head slightly, eyes still on the empty road. "Just feels like someone's always watching. Like I'm not alone, even when I am." I laughed it off, clapping him on the back. Small town paranoia, right? Hollow Creek was the kind of place where nothing ever happened. Boring streets, nosy neighbors, and endless quiet. "Come on, man. Let's get ice cream or something." That night, back in his room, he pinned his bridge drawing to the wall with a thumbtack, the paper crinkling under his fingers. He wrote July 12th in the corner in tiny letters, like marking a memory. At 2:07 a.m., my phone buzzed on my nightstand. A text from him. Heard 3 taps on the window. Freaked me out. I yawned and typed back, "Go to sleep, weirdo." Probably the wind. He never answered. The next morning, when I stopped by his house, the drawing was gone from the wall, a small hole left where the tack had been. Noah stood there staring at the empty spot, his face pale. "Someone took it, Eli." While I was sleeping, I shrugged, but a chill ran down my spine. Who would do that? And why? The sketch turned up the next day, folded neatly in his mailbox among the bills and junk mail. Noah pulled it out with trembling hands, unfolding it slowly as if it might bite. Greasy fingerprints smudged the edges, dark and oily, like from mechanic's gloves. The drawing was the same, the bridge in perfect detail, but now it felt tainted wrong. He brought it to school, shoving it into my hands during first period. Someone was inside my house, Eli. They took it and brought it back like this. His eyes were wide, darting around the hallway as kids slammed lockers and laughed, oblivious. I examined the paper, the grease stains cold under my fingers. Probably your mom's sleepwalking or something dumb. Or a prank from one of the guys on the team. I tried to sound casual, but my voice wavered. Hollow Creek didn't have break-ins. It was too small, too sleepy. He didn't laugh, just shook his head. No, it's the same car I saw by the bridge. Same guy driving. Scar on his cheek, like he got cut bad. His whisper was urgent, pulling me closer. I followed his gaze out the classroom window during lunch. Deputy Calloway's cruiser crawled past the school parking lot, slow as a predator stalking. The driver's side window was down, and I caught a glimpse, the scar, jagged and white across his cheek. Noah went pale, sinking lower in his seat. That's the son, Deputy Calloway. He's been following me. I told him he was seeing things that cops patrolled all the time. But deep down, a knot formed in my gut. What if he wasn't paranoid? What if something was really wrong? That afternoon, Noah added to his diary in secret, words pouring out like a confession. I didn't know then, but he was documenting every shadow, every glance. If only I had believed him sooner. Mr. Calloway, the retired cop who lived 3 houses down from Noah, was the friendliest neighbor on our street. Always waving from his porch swing, his white hair catching the sun, offering cold lemonade on hot days. His house was a tidy ranch style with flower beds neatly trimmed, the kind of place that screamed normal. One afternoon, Noah went over to return a borrowed lawnmower, pushing it across the lawns under the bright sky. I watched from my porch, sipping soda, thinking nothing of it. Mr. Calloway greeted him with that warm smile, hand extended for a shake. They talked for what felt like forever, too long for just a thank you. I saw the old man's hand rest on Noah's shoulder, his eyes steady, almost searching. When Noah came back, crossing the street with quick steps, he looked sick, his face drained of color. That I remind him of cases he never solved. Kids who went missing back in the day. Noah's voice was barely above a whisper, his eyes fixed on the ground. He took a sip, but his hand shook. His living room is full of old case files, Eli. Boxes stacked high, and police radios, still on, crackling with static like he's listening in. I frowned, glancing at the Calloway house. The porch was empty now, swing creaking in the breeze. Weird, but he's retired. Probably just bored. He collapsed onto my porch steps, breathing hard. What did he say? I asked, handing him my soda. That night, Noah added a new page to his diary under the glow of his desk lamp. The old man has police radios in his living room. They were talking about me. I heard my name in the static. He didn't tell me. I wish he had. Maybe things would have turned out different. Noah's mom worked night shifts at the hospital, leaving the house quiet and empty most evenings. The kitchen light would flicker on around midnight when she got home, exhausted but always smiling for Noah. One morning, she found the house phone off the hook in the living room, dangling like a forgotten thought. The cord twisted on the floor. She checked the call log, her brow furrowing. 3 outgoing 911 calls placed at 1:14 a.m., 1:17 a.m., and 1:21 a.m. All disconnected before anyone could speak, just dead air. What the heck? She muttered, dialing the station. The dispatcher sounded bored. Ma'am, it's probably a glitch. Happens with old lines. We'll note it. Noah overheard from his bedroom door, heart pounding. He knew it wasn't a glitch. He made those calls, whispering into the dark, but the line had cut each time. A week later, when she checked again, the calls had vanished from the phone record entirely, as if they'd never happened. Noah stopped sleeping after that, lying awake staring at the ceiling fan spinning lazy circles. Shadows danced on the walls, and every creak in the house sounded like footsteps. He wrote in his diary, "They know I called. Someone made it disappear." I didn't know any of this then. He hid it well, showing up to school with dark circles under his eyes, but still cracking jokes. If I'd asked more, pushed harder, maybe I could have helped. The August storm hit like a fury, lightning cracking the sky like shattered glass. Thunder boomed so loud it rattled windows, and rain poured in sheets, turning streets into rivers. Noah texted me at 11:03 p.m. Coming over? Can't sleep. I was grounded for sneaking out the week before. My room dark except for the glow of my phone. Told him tomorrow, man. Stay dry. That was the last message he ever sent. The storm raged on, wind howling through the trees like a scream. Next morning, the air was thick with humidity, puddles reflecting gray skies. Noah's mom called my house in a panic. He hadn't come home. His bed was still made, sketch pad open on his desk. We searched everywhere. His bike lay in the mud behind the school. Chain off the sprocket, backpack still zipped tight with his soaked sketchbook inside. Pages of drawings blurred by water, but one stood out, a dark sedan in the rain. Police arrived by noon, flashlights sweeping the woods. But within hours, they declared him a runaway. Teen boys do this, the sergeant said, notepad flipping closed. Probably hitched a ride out of town. I screamed at them in the station lobby, face hot with rage. He wouldn't just leave. Check the diary, the calls, something's wrong. An officer shrugged, bored. We'll keep an eye out. They never even searched the woods properly, just poked around for show. That night, I lay awake, storm echoes in my ears. Where was he? 6 months of silence dragged on like a bad dream. 6 months of nightmares where I saw Noah's face in every shadow, heard his laugh in the wind. The town moved on, posters faded, whispers stopped. But not me. Then the school held a memorial assembly in the gym, lights dim, photos of Noah projected on the wall. His mom sat in the front row, tissues crumpled in her fist. I volunteered to clean out his locker so she wouldn't have to face it. The metal door creaked open, stale air rushing out. Old notebooks, gum wrappers, a forgotten hoodie. Behind a loose metal panel at the back, my fingers brushed something soft hidden. I pried it free, a thick black diary, edges worn from use. Dust motes danced in the hallway light as I held it, heart racing. I sat on the cold tile floor, back against the lockers, and opened it with shaking hands. The first line hit like a punch. Kid, if you're reading this, Eli, I'm probably gone. And it's not an accident. Pages filled with his neat script, detailing everything. The car, the knocks, the fear. I read until tears blurred the words. The janitor's mop squeaking down the hall, finding me curled up, sobbing. How'd I miss this? He'd been screaming for help, and I'd laughed it off. I read the diary until the janitor found me crying in the dark hallway, his keys jingling like an alarm. Every page was a scream no one had heard, words pouring out in blue ink, sometimes crossed out, sometimes underlined so hard the paper tore. Noah described the sedan in detail, black, tinted windows, license plate smudged. The knocks at night, always 3, pause, 3 more. The scar on the deputy's cheek like a lightning bolt. The radio's crackling in Mr. Calloway's house. He wrote about calling 911 3 times that night, his voice shaking into the receiver, but hearing a familiar click, then dead air. They know it's me, he'd scrawled. Someone's covering it up. He drew the Calloway house from memory, every shutter, every flower pot perfect, a tiny figure in the basement window looking out. Last entry, dated the night he vanished. He's outside right now. I can see the scar in the porch light. If I disappear, check the basement. Tell Eli I'm sorry. I couldn't breathe, chest tight like a vice. The school bell rang distant, kids flooding the halls, but I sat frozen. Why hadn't he shown me this? Was he protecting me? Or did he think I wouldn't believe him? The janitor helped me up. You okay, kid? No, I wasn't. I took the diary straight to the police station that afternoon, bursting through the doors with it clutched like a lifeline. The lobby smelled of coffee and old paper, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. Sergeant Miller, a burly man with a mustache, took me into a small room, the chair cold metal under me. He flipped through the pages like it was junk mail, eyebrows raised. Kid was depressed, huh? Made up stories to feel important. His voice was gruff, dismissive. 3911 calls. I yelled, slamming my hand on the table. Explain that. He wrote about them. Dates match everything. He closed the book with a thud, sliding it back. We looked into it. System error. Happens all the time. His eyes avoided mine. As I stormed out, fists clenched, a young officer in uniform slipped me a business card by the door. Her name tag read Jamie Ross. She glanced around, voice a whisper. Not here. Meet me. Diner. Midnight. Come alone. I nodded, pocket slipping the card. What did she know that the others didn't? Jamie slid into the booth across from me at midnight. The diner's neon sign flickering red through the window. The place smelled of greasy fries and burnt coffee. A few late-night truckers hunched at the counter. Her eyes were red-rimmed. Uniform off. Just a plain jacket now. She looked over her shoulder twice before speaking, voice low and urgent. Those calls weren't errors. Someone deleted them from the system. She leaned in, fingers drumming the table. Higher up. Way higher. I saw the logs before they vanished. I pushed the diary across the Formica table. Pages open to the 911 entries. She read 3 pages, her face going white under the harsh lights. Scar on the cheek? That's Deputy Calloway. His dad's the retired chief. Pulls strings even now. Headlights swept across the window, bright and blinding. The same dark sedan idled outside, engine rumbling. Jamie's eyes widened. She grabbed my wrist, nails digging in. Go home now. Lock your doors. Don't tell anyone about this. I bolted into the night, heart thundering. Who was watching us? I woke to the sound of glass shattering downstairs, sharp and sudden in the quiet night. My room was pitch black, clock glowing 3:17 a.m. Footsteps creaked on the stairs, slow, deliberate. I froze under the covers, breath caught in my throat. The doorknob rattled. I slid under the bed, dust bunnies tickling my face, heart exploding in my chest. Shadows moved under the door crack. Minutes stretched like hours until the footsteps faded, a car engine revving outside. Morning light revealed the horror. Living room ransacked, drawers dumped on the floor, cushions sliced open with a knife. Papers scattered, photos torn. Nothing stolen except the diary from my nightstand. I ran outside in my pajamas, screaming for help. Neighbors peeked from windows but didn't come out. On the porch, wrapped in clear plastic against the dew, sat the diary. I tore it open. A new page added in red ink, block letters. Stop digging, Eli, or you'll end up like him. Who had been in my house? And how did they know? Jamie met me in the park at dawn, mist rising from the grass like ghosts. Birds chirped overhead, but her face was grim, shadows under her eyes. She handed me a small USB drive, cold metal in my palm. Backup dispatch tapes. Copied them before they scrubbed everything. Listen alone. We sat in her car, windows fog as I plugged it into my laptop. Static crackled through the speakers. Then Noah's voice, small and scared. He's outside my window. Please send someone. Scar on his face, deputy's car. Click. Deadline. The timestamp glowed. Deputy Calloway on duty. That shift. Jamie's hands shook on the wheel. He answered the call himself. Terminated it. My stomach dropped. We have proof now. She nodded, but fear etched her face. They'll come for this too. Be careful. What next? Who could we trust? I played the recording for Noah's mom in her kitchen that evening. The room smelling of leftover dinner and grief. She listened in silence, hands clasped tight, knuckles white. When Noah's voice filled the air, her face crumpled, tears streaming. She aged 10 years in 10 seconds, shoulders slumping. I should have believed him, she whispered, voice breaking. They said he ran away because I worked too much, left him alone. I reached across the table, gripping her hand. It was cold. It's not your fault. We're proving it now. She wiped her eyes and opened a drawer, pulling out a folded paper. Noah's last drawing, the Calloway house, every detail perfect. Porch swing, flower beds, basement window with bars. In the bottom corner, a tiny stick figure inside, hand pressed to the glass. I found this under his bed after he vanished, she said. Thought it was just imagination. But now, her voice trailed off. The figure looked trapped, desperate. Had Noah seen something that night? Midnight came with thunder growling low in the sky, clouds heavy and dark. We met in Noah's backyard, Noah's mom, Jamie, and me, shovels in hand, flashlights taped dim. The ground was soft from recent rain, Mud sucking at our shoes as we dug along the Callaway fence, wood splintered and old. 6 inches down, my shovel clanged against metal, echoing loud. We froze, listening. A neighbor's dog barked wildly, chain rattling. We kept digging, hearts pounding, until we pulled up a rusted tin box, dirt crumbling off. Inside, under the flashlight beam, Noah's missing sketchbooks, pages curled from moisture but alive with his art. Bridges, streets, faces. One drawing stopped us cold. Deputy Callaway, scar vivid, carrying a limp body toward a basement door. The body wore Noah's favorite sneakers. Headlights flooded the yard suddenly, bright as day. Drop the shovels. Hands up, voices shouted, cops swarming with guns drawn. Mr. Callaway stood on his porch across the fence, arms crossed, smiling like he'd expected us. Trespassing now? Shame. They cuffed us, flashlights blinding. What have we uncovered? They arrested us for trespassing in the station's cold holding cell, fluorescent lights harsh overhead. The air smelled of bleach and despair. They questioned us separately, voices barking accusations. Digging up yards? You kids watch too many movies. They let us go with a warning after hours, no charges. Stay out of trouble, the sergeant growled. No warrant for the Callaways, despite the drawings. Circumstantial at best, they said. Kid drew a lot of dark stuff. Doesn't prove anything. I screamed until my throat bled raw, pounding the desk. He's missing. You ignored his calls. No one listened. They escorted me out, doors slamming. Outside, rain started again, cold drops on my face. Had we just made it worse? Jamie leaked scanned pages of the diary to the local news the next day, her hands shaking as she hit send. By morning, the headline exploded across front pages and screens. Missing boy warned police. They erased the calls. Photos of Noah smiling. The diary excerpts bolded. Town hall meetings erupted in chaos. Residents packing the room. Voices rising in anger. Protests formed outside the station. Signs waving. Justice for Noah. Camera crews from bigger cities rolled in. Lights flashing. Microphones thrust forward. The department issued a slick statement. Fabricated teen drama. No evidence of foul play. But the damage was done. Whispers turned to shouts. Behind the scenes, Jamie lost her badge, fired for breach of protocol. She packed her car and left town without goodbye. The pressure built. Will they finally act? A retired dispatcher called me 2 days later, her voice quavering on the phone. She'd seen the news, couldn't sleep. I kept paper backups, she said. Old habit. Meet me at the old mill. We met under rusty beams, wind whistling through cracks. She handed me yellowed logs, fingers arthritic. One entry, never digitized. 911 call, August 14th, 11:07 p.m. caller. Noah Hale. Deputy Callaway's car is in my driveway. He's coming to the door. Help! Second line. Handwritten in faded ink. Call terminated by D. Callaway. My hands shook holding it. Proof undeniable. Why didn't you say something sooner? Scared, she whispered. They protect their own. The line ended with a note. Door creaking open on caller's end. No follow-up. The search warrant finally came through after the logs hit the news. Judge's signature fresh. I stood across the street as officers kicked in the Callaway door, wood splintering. Neighbors gathered, murmuring. The house looked ordinary from outside, but inside, chaos. They brought out boxes sealed with tape, labeled evidence. In the basement, mildew thick in the air, dust motes floating. They found Noah's sketches pinned to the walls like twisted art gallery. Bridges, faces, the deputy's scar repeated. Cans of paint thinner lined the shelves, fumes sharp. A faint trace of something metallic lingered, but no body. Deputy Callaway was already gone. Vanished before sunrise. Car abandoned at the edge of town. What had he hidden down there? They found him 3 towns over, hiding in a cousin's remote cabin, woods thick around it. He sat on the porch when they arrived, smoking a cigarette, laughing low. Kid had a crush on me. Made up wild stories to get close. His voice was calm, scar twitching with each word. The interview room was stark, recorder clicking on. Evidence was thin, circumstantial drawings, erase calls. The diary ruled inadmissible, hearsay from a troubled teen. Charges dropped before trial. He walked free, smirking at cameras. I threw up in the courthouse bathroom, acid burning my throat. Justice slipped away like smoke. The fallout was brutal, ripping through Hollow Creek like a storm. Mr. Calloway retired with full pension, moving to Florida without a word. Jamie vanished too, her apartment empty, phone disconnected. Online trolls flooded forums, calling me a liar, faked the diary for fame. Comments stung like knives. I stopped leaving my house, curtains drawn, days blurring. Noah's mom called sometimes, voice hollow. The town whispered, divided. Some believed, others defended the police. Trust shattered like glass underfoot. 1 year after Noah vanished, an envelope slid under my door at dawn. No stamp, no address. Plain white, sealed tight. My hands trembled opening it. Inside, Polaroids, edges sharp. Noah at the bridge, sketching alone. Noah walking home, backpack slung. Noah looking straight at the camera, eyes wide with terror, mouth open in a silent scream. On the back of each, timestamps in faded ink, proving surveillance for weeks. The last photo, Noah turning toward the lens, face pale. A note tucked in, "I'm sorry I couldn't save him." No signature. Who sent it? A guilty cop? Jamie? The mystery haunted me. The town meeting hall was packed, air thick with tension and sweat. Chairs scraped as people shifted, murmurs rising. I stood at the podium, diary in hand, spotlights hot on my skin. My voice shook at first, then steadied as I read Noah's words aloud. Every fear, every plea. The room fell silent, breaths held. I finished with his last line, "Tell Eli I try to be brave." Tears choked me. Noah's mom stood beside, gripping the podium. "My son told the truth. You just didn't want to hear it." Silence stretched, then someone in the back row clapped. Slow at first, then the whole room erupted. Applause, sobs, anger released. For the first time, they saw him, really saw him. The truth echoed off the walls. They renamed the old bridge Hale Crossing. Months later, a small ceremony under clear skies. A bronze plaque gleamed, in memory of Noah Hale, who deserved to be believed. Flowers piled at the base, ribbons fluttering. I visit every year on the day he disappeared, gravel crunching under my feet. I leave fresh daisies, his favorite, in the diary, now wrapped in plastic so the rain can't hurt it anymore. Pages preserved, words eternal. I whisper the same thing every time. "I believe you, Noah. I always did. I'm sorry I was too late." The river rushes below, a constant murmur. His spirit feels close here in the wind. Sometimes, late at night, when the house creaks and shadows stretch, I still hear 3 taps on my window. Pause. 3 more. My heart stops each time. I don't open the curtains, just sit in the dark, knees drawn up, whispering back. I'm still here. I haven't stopped fighting. Thunder rolls in the distance, echoing that fateful storm. Memories flood, his laugh, his sketches, his fear. The taps fade, but the questions linger. Who really knows what happened? We think monsters hide in alleys or dark woods. But sometimes they wear badges and wave from porches, smiling like friends. Sometimes they answer 911 calls and erase the proof, protecting their own. Noah's diary sits under the bridge plaque now, pages finally dry, a testament to the unseen. Every kid in Hollow Creek knows the story, passing it like a cautionary tale. They walk past the plaque and read his last words. If no one believes you, keep screaming anyway. I still scream, quietly, in letters to lawmakers and talks at schools. Every single day, because some diaries are never meant to stay buried. They demand to be heard, to change things. Noah changed me, and maybe, just maybe, the world. If you've watched this far, thank you. Noah's story isn't just one boy's tragedy. It's a reminder of how easily the quiet ones, the overlooked kids, can slip through the cracks when the people sworn to protect them look the other way. We still don't know exactly what happened to Noah that stormy night. His body has never been found. The men who wore badges and silenced his cries walked away without ever answering for it. But because one best friend refused to stay silent, a town finally listened. A bridge now carries his name. New policies watch closer for missing kids. And every year, strangers leave flowers and read his words under that plaque. But it shouldn't take a diary, a leak, or a viral headline for a child's plea to matter. So here's my call to action for you today. Believe the kids who say they're scared, even when their fears sound small or dramatic. Ask the extra question. Push when something feels off. If you ever suspect a child is in danger, don't wait for perfect proof. Call it in. Follow up. Be the voice they don't have. Share Noah's story. Post the title. Leave a comment. Send this video to someone who needs to hear it. Every view, every share keeps his warning alive. If no one believes you, keep screaming anyway. And if you're a kid watching this right now, feeling unseen or afraid, please know you matter. Save this video. Write your own diary if you need to. Reach out to a trusted adult, a hotline, anyone. You deserve to be heard the first time. Thank you for remembering Noah Hale. Let's make sure no other diary ever has to be found too late. If this story moved you, hit like, subscribe for more stories that demand justice, and turn on notifications. We're just getting started.